What if I told you that this piece of history in my hand isn't 800 years old, but barely 50? Welcome back to Collectibles Uncovered. Today, we are deconstructing one of the most successful illusions in numismatic history, the Denaro of Doge Sebastiano Ziani. Thousands of people find this exact coin in attics or old boxes, convinced they've discovered a medieval fortune. Today, I'm going to show you why this is actually the Liza 52, a 1970s toy, and I'll show you the difference between zinc scrap and pure Venetian silver. To understand why this coin is so famous, we have to go back to the 13th century. Venice was the world's financial superpower. Under Doge Sebastiano Ziani, 1172 to 1178, the Republic needed a currency that the world could trust. Let's talk numbers. Real history isn't just about looks, it's about physics. According to the official specs, material, Billon, low-grade silver. Weight, 0.36 grams, not 0.5, not 1 gram. Exactly 0.36. Diameter, 14 millimeters. Look at the SMRCV's lettering. Look at the central cross. Medieval coins were hammered, not pressed. If your coin looks too round, too shiny, or too thick, you don't have a coin, you have a souvenir. It was the most copied coin of its time, which is ironic, considering what we're looking at today. Look at the strike. Medieval coins weren't printed, they were hammered. In my coin, notice the displacement of the metal. If you compare it to the museum-grade original, you'll see the SMARCV's lettering has a specific font. Scammers often use modern fonts that are too perfect. Real Venetian denari are thin, almost like a silver leaf. If your coin has a thick edge, it's a modern cast. A ghost from a 20th century factory, not a 12th century mint. Sebastiano Ziani was likely the richest man of his time. He literally rebuilt St. Mark's Square with his own money. So when you hold a real Denaro Ziani, you're holding a piece of the legacy of the man who created Venice, as we know it today. Let's talk about the Billon Mistera. It's a low-grade silver alloy. Over 800 years, this metal develops a soul, a patina that is impossible to replicate in a basement. Look at the original on the screen. See that grayish, dull glow? No, just look at the fake. If it's too shiny or has bubbly surfaces, that's a sign of centrifugal casting. Molten metal trapped air bubbles. The Doge's mint didn't make bubbles, they made currency. That conquered the Mediterranean. Here's a secret most people ignore. Why is this coin made of Billon, this low-grade silver? Because Sebastiano Ziani was a genius of finance. Venice needed a massive amount of small change to fuel the local markets by mixing silver with copper. He created a currency that stayed in the pockets of the people. High-purity silver coins were exported or hoarded. These little denari were the fuel of the Venetian streets. If your coin looks like pure 999 silver, it's probably a modern fake made for tourists. Notice the name S. Marcos. Venice was the first state to understand branding. They put St. Mark everywhere to tell the world. This coin is guaranteed by the saint himself. It was a psychological trick. People trusted this tiny piece of metal more than the heavy coins of other kings. When you analyze a fake, look at the saint's name. Scammers often mess up the spacing because they don't understand the sacred importance of those letters. Focus on the central cross. On the original, the ends of the cross have specific pellets or decorations. In many fakes, these details are blurred. Why? Because they used a real coin to make a mold. And every time you copy a copy, you lose the DNA of the strike. We call this mushy detail. If the Doge's name looks like it's melting into the background, you're looking at a scam, period. I've spent 13 minutes on this single coin because the details are where the truth hides. People often ask me,
why do you care so much? It's just a small piece of metal.
No, It's a piece of 1172 history. If we lose the ability to distinguish the real from the fake, we lose the history itself. And trust me, what I'm about to show you at minute 7 is going to prove exactly why this specific piece is a lie. To give you a real perspective on what we are dealing with, look at this. This is a Greek 20 drachma coin, modern, industrial, solid. Look at the thickness compared to our Venetian Denaro. When you hold them, the difference isn't just the age, it's the soul of the metal. The drachma is heavy, designed for mass circulation in a modern world. The Denaro, it's a relic of a world where silver was scarce in every milligram count. Notice the color. The Greek coin is likely cupronickel, tough, shiny, almost clinical. It's built to survive vending machines and pockets. Now look back at the Ziani Denaro. That Billon alloy, low-grade silver, has a porous, almost organic texture. If your medieval coin feels as dense and industrial as this modern drachma, you have a problem. Ancient minting wasn't about consistency. It was about the strike of the hammer. But the weight never lies. The 20 drachmae is a tank. The Denaro is a feather. Now let's get dirty. I'm not here to play nice. I'm here to show you the reality of the metal. You see this steel key? Watch closely. Listen to that sound. Steel on junk. If I scratch this and I see copper or iron underneath that fake patina, it's game over. Real Billon silver has a soul. This is just plated trash. This is how you debunk a scammer in 10 seconds. If your 12th century coin has the same physical thud as this Greek piece when you drop it on the table, well, you don't need a lab. You just need common sense. And after showing you the ultimate destructive test, it's clear, in my opinion. The original, it's not just metal, it's the DNA of an empire. You might be asking yourself,
why would someone spend time faking a small medieval Denaro instead of a big gold ducat?
The answer is simple. Volume. High-end gold coins are scrutinized by experts with microscopes. But these are sold in uncleaned lots, or as family heirlooms on eBay for 20 or 30 bucks. Scammers sell thousands of them. They play on your hope of finding a hidden gem for the price of a pizza. But $30 for a piece of zinc is a 1,000% profit for them. Don't be the victim. Another trick, the artificial desert patina. They cook these fakes in chemicals or bury them in acidic soil to make them look ancient. They want you to see the dirt and think, this just came out of the ground near the Rialto Bridge. Look closely at the edges of my coin again. Real age is a slow process of oxidation. A fake patina is just a coat of paint. If the dirt comes off with a simple rub of your thumb, the coin is as fake as a $3 bill. Before I show you the actual market data, remember this. In numismatics, condition is king, but authenticity is God. A real Ziani Denaro in poor condition is worth more than the most beautiful fake in the world. Why? Because the real one was there when the Crusades were starting. It was there when Venice was rising from the mud. Now let's jump into Numist and the auction records. Let's see what a real piece of Venetian history actually costs, so you can see exactly how much money these scammers are trying to reach out of your pockets. Let's start from the top. When you have a coin like this, you don't just guess, you investigate. I'm typing Venice here. Look at the results. Thousands of coins as the Grossu, the Republic of Venice, the Serenissima. Minted coins for over 1,000 years. from the huge gold ducats to the tiny pieces of change. We need to filter this chaos. Here's our target, the Denaro. Click on it. Now look at the screen. This is the DNA of the coin. See the technical sheet? Billon, 0.36 grams, 14 millimeters. This is the exact moment where the fake in my hand starts to tremble. The database is showing us a perfect specimen. Notice the SMARCVs on the reverse and the Doge's name on the obverse. If your coin has different letters or a different weight, you've been scammed. Numista also lists variants and common fakes. If you scroll down, you can see the auction history. A real Ziani Denaro is a piece of history, not a piece of junk. We've gone from the entire history of Venice down to this single, tiny 14 millimeters disc. The evidence is overwhelming. Now that we know what the gold standard is, let's talk about why people keep falling for the fakes. Now, I'm narrowing it down. We're looking for the 12th century. I'll add Ziani to the search bar. Boom. There he is. Sebastiano Ziani, 39th Doge of Venice. This is how you do it. You don't just look for old coin. You look for the authority that issued it. Numista is now showing us the exact historical window, 1172 to 1178. We've hit over 80,500 views on this channel. That is a massive crowd, and I want to thank you all again. But here is the problem. Most of you are just ghosting. You watch, you learn how to save your money from scammers, but you don't commit. This channel is for the rebels, the history hunters, and those who want the raw truth. If you want me to keep destroying fakes and uncovering history, don't just stay offline. Hit that subscribe button, join the crew. Let's hit the top the next episode drops. Stay metal, stay real.